What's up, Internet? Once again, it is snowing, thus creating a winter wonderland around us. But is that really what we want? It's a very good question. I don't know. I don't like winter wonderlands because that implies cold and also, winter. Two things that don't really get along too well with me. Throw that away. Still need room, so I guess we'll go talk to Phyllis and get rid of some letters real quick before we go and grab our actual mail. But that's how it is. It's got some nice Christmas lights, but it's just too cold. It's cold and sad and lonely out there. Phyllis, it's too lonely out there. Oh, I don't need to make a deposit. It looks like I can make a deposit. It's very close to me making a deposit, but we're not quite there yet. We just need to deposit some letters. I need to get rid of this letter. And of course, we should get rid of the last letter right here. And that's all the letters. So we can now actually go get our mail. Alright, let's go get our mail. Honestly, I just want to listen to this really nice winter music. I don't even want to talk, I just want to listen, but that feels kind of antithetical to what we're doing right now. Take those 4. And we have a couple of gyroids in our inventory. Let's see if any of them really do anything for our house. We already have a Squeltroid. Oh, right next to it. I didn't even see it. I was like, there's a Squeltroid already in here. Where? Alright, we got one more gyroid. Let's see what a tall Oomboid will do. Oh, we already have one, though. I kind of like that Squeltroid in there, though, because Squeltroids are fun. Alright. Well, next step is, of course, to go find stuff at the dump. We got ourselves an orange chair full of vitamin C so we never get sick again. And cool paper. Because it's the coolest of the paper. Like the cool shirt. It's just undeniable. It's in the name. We're leaving, Porter. Quickly, summon us a train. The more suplexible, the better. Alright, let's get on this train. We've got adventures to go on and stuff. Goodbye, Porter. I feel I will see you almost as soon as I get off the train, though. Maybe it's just a premonition, but, I don't think we're done seeing Porter tonight. And here's our old pal, Rover. Although pal is a strong word. Perhaps just guy we have to put up with every now and then. That seems about right. It's this guy we have to put up with every now and then, Porter, or Rover. Although we do have to put up with Porter sometimes. He's at least nice. Rover's just kind of annoying. And he never takes the hint. No one likes you. Take that hint. Still not picking up on it. Still has a terrible memory, even though we see each other twice a day. Goodbye, Rover. I don't care to see you ever again, but I'm sure we will meet once again. Hello, Porter. I knew we'd see each other again. I just knew it. It's a premonition or something. So I guess first things first, we have to go through our stuff. So we have a letter from the museum, which contains an ammonite. A letter from the museum, which contains a trilobite. So we got 2 paperweights so far. A letter from the museum, which contains an Apatitail. And finally, a letter from the museum, which contains the museum model. Because we've completed this collection. Because of all of our contributions to the arts finally paid back in some way other than just providing us a thing to look at every now and then. It's very nice of them. Get rid of that, get rid of that. I'll hold on to that paper though. But as I've said, you know, if you want to contribute to the arts, I've got a Patreon. Help support the channel so I can actually, you know, afford to play games and stuff. It's nice. Being able to actually afford stuff. Anything around here that looks interesting? Oh, we got the spade shirt. I like the spade shirt. We got a flamingo. I don't think we actually have the flamingo in our collection. What the hell? We'll buy this. Because style points. I actually saw this really, like, bizarre hyper-colored painting of a flamingo the other day, because I was, like, walking through, like, this weird art shop. It was a very neat painting. I don't know why, but something about it just caught my attention. It was, like, really, really bright pink surrounded by a bunch of other really bizarrely bright colors. It was nice. It was just, like, a nice little fun thing to see, and it wasn't something you expected to see during your day. Throw that away. Throw this away. Throw this away. And once again, we shall grab this letter, move it here. And we're going to leave that there because I don't want to get rid of that letter. It's a special letter. You only get to see that once. Wait a minute. A tall Umbloid? We just got rid of a tall Umbloid. Game. I think you're cheating. Got a dark polka shirt. Because sometimes you just want to look like Camo Frog, but more stylish. And a snappy print. Well, we already know that the snappy print is, in fact, very snappy looking. It's actually a very nice little bit of clothing. But it's not a cool shirt. And because of that, I'm not sure I can live with a snappy print in my life. Not when I have a cool shirt. Because it is, as we've established, the coolest of all shirts. Oh, we should probably go see if there's any treasure to be found. Though we did just recently run into Donkey Kong buried in the ground, so who knows. Chao was very disrespectful to Donkey Kong, and we had to go rescue him. Nothing from Velma. I wonder if anyone's coming to town soon. I would think so, but you never know. Nope, nothing for Peaches. Peaches rocking the awesome Squelchoid set. Gotta respect that, the Squelchoids are fun. They're one of the better Gyroid sets out there, I think. Throw that out. That's a tiny little fish. That won't be anything we want. Clean that up. There's Tangy. Once again in her prisoner outfit. Realizing she's trapped in this existence. Living in an existential nightmare as not a fruit, not a creature, but some bizarre alien experiment of the two. Unable to ever escape. Alright, I will go talk to Chao about stuff. Sure. Although you are in the same acre, I'm not sure why you couldn't have done that yourself. Thanks, Chao. At least I didn't have to go through 12 people to get this. Alright, let's get this handkerchief back to Tangy. There you go. I did get your hanky back. Oh, but I saved some stationery specifically so I didn't need stationery as a present. It's not very thinking of you. Tangy, you need to think more forwardly about stuff. Like, you know, this guy has paper in his inventory. Let's not give him paper. Clearly, he's set on paper. Nope, nothing from Goldie. Well, that's okay, I guess. Nothing for Chow either. Hey, what are you doing, Cube? You're not normally around here. I am doing something very neighborly. Hey, you're on a walk with your buddy Camo Frog. Alright, I'll go talk to Pierce for you, Cube. No problems. Let's go talk to everyone's favorite blue parrot guy. And the best villager of all time, Pierce. Because without a doubt, he is the best villager of all time. He's not here. Well, this makes things a little bit more challenging. But I'm betting he's down by the wishing well. And if he isn't, then we might have a little bit of a problem. We might have a little bit of a problem. Okay, so he's not by the wishing well. He doesn't appear to be sort of like on the route between the two, nor does he appear to be within like 1 acre of his home. Short of him setting up shop near the post office or something. Which means he's gone off to live in some random spot. I'm taking this before you can, Caesar. And go! Beat you to the punch. And I guess we'll take advantage of the cool paper. That is some really cool paper. Although all the flames on it make it feel kind of like hot paper. It's both cool and hot. I like it. Alright. Boom. It's 1 letter set. But we still don't know where Pierce is. And that is where things start to become a bit of an issue, because we gotta find him. Where could he ever have gone to? I just don't know. He was hiding. He used like a mysterious ninja trap to hide himself. Which is impressive considering he's a big, like, 6-foot tall blue guy. You'd think he would be harder to miss, but no, apparently he's pretty easy to miss. I'll take that, thank you, Pierce. Alright, let's get this back. Cube, the rightful owner of this object that we are delivering. I really do like those Christmas lights. I wish they were up longer, considering that, you know, I'm pretty sure they stopped showing up, like, starting New Year's. It's like, oh, let's stay up for the entirety of snow just because snow is boring. That at least makes it interesting. No, Cube, stationary won't do because I already have a lot of it. Again, it feels like the game should, like, check for some things in your inventory before it gives you a prize. But that's randomization for you. Sometimes it just kind of screws you over like that. Thought I saw a weed around here, but I guess not. I wonder if Gulliver's around today. Oh, it's not the mysterious thing Cube had buried. We got a slim nebuloid. Well, it's not a tall umbloid, so there's at least hope that it could be something good. Although it's one of the, like, million space-themed gyroids, so it's a little hard to tell if this is something I have based on name alone. There's another fossil. Alright, let's plunk this into our inventory and be on our merry little way. Copper! Alright, so in 2 days, we're gonna go and get ourselves another shirt from Gracie, hopefully. But that's assuming that I don't completely wreck my wrist. doing it, and, you know, we actually succeed. Those are the two very gigantic caveats to this whole thing. But we will do our best. Anything around here? It's always important to check because, as established, that's the worst acre of all time. Weber, whatever. It's not like you started with my town or anything and we were friends from a long time ago. The secret is I never really liked you. But I will take this to Pearl because I know where Pearl is and I like her quite a lot. If I can convenience her, I will do so. Thank you. Also, the ball is here. I guess that's worth knowing. Assuming that we run into someone who needs the ball. And assuming that I actually can be asked to actually, you know, deliver it to them. Which I don't really want to because it's the ball. It's the worst thing. Oopsie. No, I wanted to ask you something, Chow. Oh, you got nothing. Well, that's not very good. Get more stuff in your life, Chow. So that I can do more stuff in my life. Aw, they both look so sad and they didn't even swap outfits. And now they're happy again. Yay! So what was that about, Cube? Why are you both so depressed? Cube, are you okay? I think you're suffering from a stroke. It's like the setup for these quests are really weird. It's like, hey, I was just noticing something. Huh? What? What's going on? You know, it really does feel like they're like dealing with some kind of bizarre mental breakdown or something. I shall deliver this to you, Ace. Don't tell me it belongs to someone else and I have to go talk to someone else to deliver it. Hey, wallpaper, yes please. As long as it's not paper, I'm okay with it. Where did Camofrog go? I want to see if maybe he had a quest for me now. Oh no. Okay. They're not talking to each other and hating each other. That's the important thing. I'm not trying to waste your time. I want to know if you need things done for you. Because I am your friend, Camofrog. I like to do stuff for you. Also, you're not wearing your little polka dot shirt anymore. That makes you less easy to spot. And for a camouflage frog, that's... well, it's important on both levels. I would like to be able to spot you, but as a camouflage frog, you probably don't want to do that. Because as a camouflaged frog, you need to camouflage yourself as much as possible. I'm looking for Ace. The thing he needed was that watch. From Cube, I'm petting. And you didn't do it, Ace. I did. I should get another reward for that. You're welcome. Not seeing Gulliver around. I accidentally dropped my water glass. Nothing around here. Oh, we can always talk to Quetzal. Let's talk, Quetzal. What do you need in life? I'll help. Take a watch to Cube? Sure. I was helping Cube a little earlier. I'd be happy to help him now. And I get to help you in the process. That's like helping two people. I should get double prizes. It's weird how synchronized all the lights are on the tree. They must have like large power lines growing under the ground. Just connecting all the trees to a single power source. So that all the lights stay in perfect synchronicity. I shall deliver this to you, Cube. Oh, welcome. Hey, something that isn't paper. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm glad you're grateful. I'm grateful for the reward. And it's a lovely table. Although, that sounds a little braggy to me. It's probably just sort of an kinda sorta okay table, let's just be honest. But I appreciate it all the same, Cube. Might go talk to Nook soon. I'm running out of inventory space. Let's see if Quetzal needs anything else, just because it's sort of on the path to going where I'm going. Clothes for Camo Frog. Are they bright rainbow-colored polka dots? Because I think he looks good in those. I mean, let's just be honest. He's a camouflaged frog. He needs to be a little bit more visible. Or else he could sneak up and murder us all. I've seen that instinct in his eyes. He's not a friendly frog. He's a grumpy frog. There you are. That's a nice sweater he's wearing. Here you go, Camo Frog. Oh, good. Winter camo. Well, fair enough. Oh, good. His dirty, stain-filled clothes. Terrific. Very, very generous of you, Camo Frog. What shirt is that, actually? A winter sweater. Yeah, I kind of like that. Actually, I'm going to wear that. But if I'm going to do that, as we know, we got to be careful with whatever's in our letters, because I don't want to lose another cool shirt. Not again. Alright. So let's go see Nook. Maybe go see Pelly. Get rid of some letters. That seems like the next logical step in what we do. It's a nice little shirt. Hey, Mr. Nook. I'm here to sell some stuff. Stuff like this, and we can get rid of that Oombloid. I might hold on to that Nebuloid, though. Get rid of that Snappy Print, dark polka shirt, lovely table, and a stone wall. And make very few bells out of it. But it clears out some space, and every small sum of money we get is a little bit more for us, which allows us to continue having adventures in this world. And that's important, you know. Okay, so let's go talk to our goodest pal, Phyllis, about getting rid of some more mail and seeing if she's still guarding the world-ending letter that must never be delivered. She is. Good on you, girl. Alright, so I gotta mail this out. That is a nice shirt. I actually kind of like that. The mayor. I should mail this out. And we shall mail this one out. That should be enough mail for the moment. Thanks for putting up with my nonsense, Phyllis. We've been friends for a long time. I appreciate you putting up with me. Hey, Pierce, you need something while I'm here? Oh, nothing for Pierce. That's okay, though. You can always help Cookie. Craziness. No, you don't. You have nothing. You lying liar. Look like they were going to talk to each other, but I guess not. Sounds like there was two mole crickets. Like one over in this area, one over in this area. Oh well. I have no real need for mole crickets unless someone asks me, hey, can you catch me a bug? And I look at them weird saying, it's the middle of winter, why the hell would I be able to catch a bug? And more importantly, why would I want to? But yes, I probably could catch you a bug. I just don't want to. Alright. Well, I guess that makes him a little more visible. But I think he should have worn that snow camo a little bit better if he's really going to try and be a camo frog. This is useful advice if you're into feng shui, which does affect stuff in the background, sort of. Although it's kind of nebulous as to what degree that actually helps. Hey, some PBJ sandwiches, yeah! Hook me up, man. I want some PBJ sandwiches. But only if the J stands for jam and not jelly, because there's a difference, and jam is way better. And if the jam in question is in fact raspberry, guys, it's the best kind. I am insanely in love with raspberry jam. It is like the best jam. It's my jam, if you will. Also more interested in like smooth peanut butter than chunky peanut butter, I don't know. Chunky peanut butter, it's just, doesn't really do that much to me. I like the consistency of smooth. It just works a little better. Alright, I will go talk to Camofrog then. You flaky little tangerine girl. Okay. Oh no. You're mean, Camofrog, especially since he went out and got you that nice shirt. I will deliver to Cube. You live next to him, why can't you just deliver him? Hell, he's like not even 10 feet away from you right now. Why can you not just give something to Cube, Camofrog? Are you just afraid to admit that you're best friends with him? I think that must be it. Hey, some smooth duds. Aw, good. A chevron shirt. It's this weird looking thing with like that weird cream color and that kind of neon green. But it's not a cozy winter sweater, so I think I'll keep this on instead. Not sure what else to do. We might just go talk to Weber, talk to a few more people, and if nothing happens, maybe we'll go home. Been at this for almost half an hour. Oh, right. I have to... check all the towns you've ever visited. That's good advice. I'll just check the 50 memory cards I have. Thanks, Weber. It does feel winter. That's very true. Alright, we got a job. I know, Pierce, yep. Why would you lend out your organizer after that? I still don't understand it. Like, watches are kind of weird. Why would you lend that out? But, you know, an organizer, to me, that feels like that's like a diary. That is not a thing you just lend out to people. Especially if you're the kind of person who actually, like, you know, needs to be organized. Pierce. I need organizer. Gimme. I'm running out of water. That's not good. Alright, I will deliver this. I kind of wish actual snow had stars in it too. That might actually make it interesting. As opposed to just being bland and white and very, very thick and deep and cold. And stuck with me for 10 months out of the year. Ugh. Video game snow is way better than actual snow. This is your organizer. Now keep yourself organized now that you have this. Oh, good stationery. Okay, fine. I'll take even more stationery. What about you, Chow? You need something while I'm here? I'm betting I took care of that, not you, Chow. Don't take credit for what I did for you. That's not very polite. That's rude. Goldie. I can help with errands if you need them, but you don't. Uh-oh. Is there gonna be a fight? Someone seems happy. Chow is now dressed like a prisoner, just as we always knew he was. I will take it. Oh, furniture. A barrel. Barrel! Let's see if Tang will give us anything for free, because she's in a good mood. I know what those signs are. They denote where people will live in the future. They're prophetic signs. I don't think I've ever bothered to actually read any of these signs because they're just very obvious tips, but... you know, it's just weird that they're random signs that correspond exactly where people try and live. That's just something that's a little odd to me. Cookie! You need anything while I'm here? Yes, I plan to ask you specifically if you need help when you don't need help. That is, it is a planned conspiracy against you, Cookie. Alright, I will deliver this to Caesar. I know where he is. He's pretty close by. Sounds like a plan. Pierce? Alright, Caesar. Let's get that autograph of Cookies off you. Put you into a real shirt. So this would mark like the 12th person in this town who owns a number 4 shirt. Everyone in this town is number 4, I guess. Oh, I don't want to wear Cookies' autograph. If I did wear Cookies' autograph, it would just give her a bigger head. And she can't deal with that. She'll fall into space and develop her own gravitational pull if she gets a bigger head. Nothing for Velma. What about Peaches? Is everything going peachy for you, Peaches? What Animal Crossing would I suggest to someone who's never played before? It's, well, I mean, the first obvious one would be one that you can play. Obviously, I wouldn't recommend the N64 one unless you can, like, you know, import and read Japanese, but... they're all pretty good. There's one that's coming out on the Switch in a couple of months that I don't know anything about because I like to stay in the dark about new games, you know, because of my job, but I've heard that one's going to be pretty amazing from just little snippets I've heard here and there. The last one, New Leaf on the 3DS, is pretty amazing from what I've played. Wild World was pretty good. The Wii version City Folk wasn't really all that interesting compared to Wild World because it was basically the same game just on the Wii. So if you're looking for one that's supposed to be like definitively the best one, the Wii version is not really any different from the DS one. If you're looking for one that just has the most content and is available right now, I would probably just say the 3DS one is probably the best, and then after that, the Wii version. Or the Wii version, the GameCube version that I'm playing on my Wii right now. Honestly, I think the original GameCube version is probably functionally the best one, just because it has a lot of ideas and content that were sort of like immediately removed and changed starting the next game in the series after. Like, this is the only one that happens to feature NES games as playable, but there was a lot of new ideas introduced with every generation, as well as new concepts and stuff. Like, immediately after this, they completely changed the camera to have sort of like a, almost sort of like, third-person, closer to the ground sort of view, as opposed to a more top-down view. I like the top-down view, but it does make looking behind objects really, really tricky. Also, you have a lot more control over your towns in every game after this. Like, animals leave your town whenever in this game, whereas in later games, you can see them packing up their house and you can talk them out of moving if you really like them. So, if you've got a 3DS and a GameCube, I would probably consider, just for the sake of ease, the 3DS version, just because you could probably get it a lot easier and cheaper. The GameCube version's gone up in price a fair bit, as most GameCube games have, for reasons I cannot explain, because it's not really that big a system of interest for collectors, honestly. But if you got a 3DS, the 3DS version is probably the one to go if you want just sheer amounts of stuff to do. The 3DS version, of course, also has online multiplayer, so you can make some internet friends and go explore their towns and stuff. But I imagine a lot of those are probably going to hop off and start playing the Switch version in March when it comes out as well. That's true. But even so, like, you know, GameCube games being Nintendo games, all GameCube games have just, like, blanket gone up in price except for, like, Rogue Leader. That's the only one that still seems to actually be a relatively affordable price. And I'm not just talking about, like, the Eternal Darkness and the Chibi Robos. that like went up in cost like substantially. Pretty much everything on the GameCube has just costed more recently. It's kind of just weird that there's just seemed to be like this huge increase in GameCube costs. But I love my GameCube. But yeah, even like the most common GameCube games just gone up in price insanely. PS2 stuff does as well. Yeah, you're right about that for sure. Which is a shame because there's so many PS2 games I still need to get. I think my list of PS2 games I need to get is still like 200 titles long. Oh, what mail did we get today? It's from the HRA telling us our house probably sucks. It could very well be a generational thing. Letter from home. That's right, we got our new model of the museum. We should probably plonk down somewhere. I don't really have any room up here, though. Might get rid of this tiger bobblehead. I'm not entirely interested in keeping that up. I need more space. The Slim Nebuloid. I don't think we've gotten this one before. Okay, that's bizarre. Imports seem to be rocketing up in price. I don't know. Like, maybe it's just knowing who to import from, but like the guy I import from, you can buy some of the rarest games there for less than $1. But that's because the way he presents things isn't necessarily like the best. Like, his initial shipping price is pretty high, and then like after that everything's basically free to ship. Well, we got the museum model anyway. That's exciting. I don't know, I got a sealed, like, brand new copy of collector's edition of Melty Blood Actress again for like $10. And a bunch of other, like, pretty rare or interesting PS2 games for basically nothing. And I basically have to work with imports nowadays just because English games are so costly nowadays, and of course I'm trying to live off my channel's Patreon, which is like $10 a month, so being able to afford games for this show is a little tricky when you're not going off like super good deals on imports. Wow, that is a lot. $150 for like $20 games. I mean, I've got Steambot Chronicles. That game cost like a freaking mint back when you could still get it, and now I'd be scared to even look up the price on that game. So last I checked, that game was like over $100 already, and that was like 5-10 years ago. But there's so many PS games I still need to get. Let's see if there's anything we need to do for the town. Things are still perfect. Tremendous. So I guess that means we're going to look for bacon-eyebrowed pelicans and ghosts next. And maybe coelacanths if we're lucky. That's a sea bass. I need a sea bass. Well, that's good to know that NES games are going down in price. I don't have a lot of those. I have maybe like 15. But again, that's me trying to rely on imports and like going with Famicom stuff a lot. That said, there aren't a ton of NES games that I like immediately feel the need to own. There's like 100 NES games I'd like to have, but not a lot that I feel I absolutely must have this instant. I think the two big ones for me would be like Xerxes and Battle for Olympus I'd like to get, but I don't know, I've already got some like my favorite NES games of all time. I've already got Clash Demon Head, I already have what is it, Monster Party. Once you have those two, you've got like the best NES games that no one knows about, and they're awesome. Are we gonna find a spooky ghost guy today? Let's find out. The problem is I have more of an interest in like the next two generations after the NES. You know, Super Nintendo and like Sega Saturn are my jam. Because I'm one of those weird people who really like the Sega Saturn, and I still think it's the best console of all time. I gotta play some Saturn now. But I can't. After this, I gotta record a bunch of stuff to review a PS2 game. I don't know, it's been a while since I've gotten an NES game of any kind of description. Although I hear that apparently Nintendo Switch's weird online NES mini library of disappointment now is containing Crystalis, which is like the best NES game of all time. Yeah, fighters are definitely the ones to go for if you're going to go for Saturn imports and you're not into reading too much. Unfortunately, a lot of Saturn imports have gone up in price a lot lately. I've gotten a lot of music from KK Slider. You should probably go talk to him every night on Saturday, Copper. Then you can get whatever jams you like. I mean, heck, I'd do it for you, but you won't just take the jams I provide you with, so... You can take this. Oh, Hyper Duel. Oh. That is my most wanted import exclusive Saturn game right there. It's not as high up on the list as, say, like Panzer Dragoon Saga, but it's pretty high up there. Oh, Hyper Duel. That's definitely one I'd like to get. Triros Deppy, that's another one. There's so many really cool import Saturn games. Unfortunately, I got a lot of like the ones you can get for super cheap, so it's hard for me to find really good ones that I don't already have, that are at least affordable. I know I've got, the most recent one I got was, what is it? The Four Wind Village Fantasy or whatever, the weird like point-and-click adventure about the dragon guy or whatever. That was a neat game. I've been trying to get that game forever. And the only reason I managed to get that was because the seller was really willing to work with me if I bought multiple things from them. Because that game costs like normally like $50, $60. I think I ended up getting it for like $8 if I bought that along with Shadow of the Tusk, which is an obscure RPG a lot of people don't know about. But it's basically entirely playable in English, which is nice. But I'd like to run into more awesome Saturn games. There just aren't a lot out there that are really affordable right now. Yeah, I'd been looking for Shadow of the Tusk for a while. That game went up in price pretty quick, too. I remember that game, that's like normally $80, $90, sometimes like $150 if you find it in the wrong place. I think I ended up paying, again, because they were willing to work out like a bundle deal for me, like $30. I really hope the costs of retro games really do become cyclical, so that just, you know, in a few years Super Nintendo and Saturn stuff will just become like dirt cheap again. That would be awesome. Yep, mine came with the spine cards as well, although I've never really understood the need for spine cards. Like, I guess it's kind of a neat little bonus thing you can have to say you've got it, like, properly complete, but it's... I don't know, it's never been something that's ever really sunk in as something that's really mattered. Okay, well, it doesn't look like we got any ghosts. Maybe we'll try and catch a couple coelacanths or something for a few minutes. I've been meaning to stream, like, Clockwork Knight Collection as well. Just because it's been forever since I played Clockwork Knight. Oh, those games are fun. Oh, there was a card game that came with Shadow of the Tusk? Oh, interesting. I did not know that. I learned something today. I know sometimes when I, like, order import games, they give me, like, random gacha cards from, like, Dragon Ball Z games and stuff. Which I've never understood why they bother doing that either, which, I mean, I guess it's a nice freebie, but it's mostly just confusing for me, because then I have to try and figure out what this thing is. Because I'm just weirdly interested in stuff that I don't know. I like to learn. So when I find something weird, it's like, what is this thing? What is its story? Why do I have it? Alright, is that... Oh, it's a sea bass, of course. But sea bass, you're the worst fish, and this is like the time to catch the best fish. Because it only comes out when it's snowing or raining. That's a sea bass as well, but screw it, I'm gonna catch it. I'm gonna take a look at this while I try and catch this fish. Huh. That's really cool. Genuinely, I have never seen that before. That's interesting. I mean, I guess that explains why Shadow of the Tusk comes in like one of those weird double-wide disc cases. I never really understood that. Sega Saturn games came with like the greatest bonus stuff ever. Like, I mean, you look at half the Sega Saturn games out there, most of them always had like the full soundtrack on CD if you just wanted to put it in your boombox or whatever, or like your, well, more relative to the times, iTunes. But then you were into stuff like Nights into Dreams, which came with like background, like wallpapers for your PC, and it came with like, screensavers and stuff. It's like, you know, we get that you can put this in things that aren't the Sega Saturn, so we're just going to give you extras. And then you've got stuff like Clockwork Knight Collection, which came with a calendar, which is very, very cool. There's just so many weird bonus stuff Saturn games came with back in the day. And they were at no extra cost, and they weren't really reserved for, like, people who pre-ordered, because it's not really a thing that happened back in the day. You know, they were just, you know, hey, we're making a cool game, here's some extra free stuff on us. And I think that was really cool. I have got to go through, like, my entire library of Saturn games. I've been thinking about doing that for my YouTube channel as well. Like, an idea I've been kicking around for New Year's stuff is, like, every month I'm just gonna look into, like, one chunk of my collection, just go through all the games I've got just to sort of reminisce about them. But, you know, there's some stuff in my Saturn collection I really want to look more into. Yeah, I've got a game that had a calendar for, I think it was 97, actually. Might have been 97, 98, but, my collection of Clockwork Knight games came with one. There's just so many weird things in the Saturn's library that people just gave you awesome free bonus stuff. And yet another reason why I like to think the Saturn is the greatest console that ever existed. And it really hits home that I have not done a Saturn review for my channel in, like, forever. Not since I finished up the Blue Destiny games, anyway. I gotta get on that. That'll be, like, one of my first priorities in the new year, I think, is, okay, we're doing Saturn reviews. Clockwork Knight and Fighters Megamix, or something. Actually, speaking of Saturn imports, I really want to get Bulk Slash. That's another one that's really up there on my list. That game looks really cool. Another sea bass. Why can we just not find ourselves a coelacanth? I'm gonna give this more, like, 10 more minutes, and then I think I'm done. Yeah. What's frustrating is, in my channel supporters Discord, I actually have someone who does happen to have a copy of Bulk Slash, and all he does is, like, warn against how bad it is, and it's like, yeah, but it looks so cool. And I'm not just saying that because I'm already jealous of the fact that you have Panzer Dragoon Saga But man, I'm really bloody jealous of that, because that is my most wanted game of all time. That combines the best things ever, Panzer Dragoon and RPGs, and I can't have it, because it's so expensive. It really did always look cool. It reminds me a little bit of Virtual On or like Gacha Force. And that's a game that's really gone up in price too. I mean, holy crap, Gacha Force. I got my copy sealed within a couple weeks of it coming out for like $5. And nowadays you can't get that game for like less than $150. But man, is that not the coolest GameCube game ever. Oh, why won't Capcom make a sequel? They like making references to it, but no sequels. They're too busy making Street Fighter 5.21362 Gold Hyper Edition A spec. Can't give us Gacha Force. I've also been thinking about streaming Gacha Force just because I've got so much experience with that game. I've got the monopoly of videos on that game. That's a fun game. But if I'm going to play that game, I'm going to play it my way. I'm going to like start a new file, but I'm going to like transfer my favorite character. Just so I can start with my custom character. Because I think that would be fun. Nothing here, Mr. Seabass. Why aren't you a coelacanth? I'm not saying that because I need 15,000 bells per fish, but I'd like it. I'd also just like to not have to catch sea bass. But because it's winter, this is the only one. Do I do trades? I do have... I've proposed a few trades on my Discord. Mostly of just stuff I've got duplicates of, just because I sometimes buy in bulk. Like at garage sales and stuff, and I end up with 2 or 3 of the same thing. But the problem is a lot of people on my Discord are from like different chunks of the world, so shipping and stuff kind of becomes prohibitive. But yes, I've done 1 or 2 trades. Okay, well, that was a big fish. I'm betting that was a carp, which is probably still more valuable to me than a sea bass, but still, I want a coelacanth. Damn it. I want to catch the living fossil. And then if I combine that with a whale, I can collect all the Regi and then transfer them to a different game to get Regigigas, the most useless legendary Pokemon of all time. Go away, sea bass. No one likes you. You know, I planned on, ending Animal Crossing at the end of the year, but I'm kind of thinking about maybe just keeping this going until the new Animal Crossing comes out. And then I get to go collect sea bass all over again. Hooray. Still, I'm pretty excited about the new Animal Crossing. I just hope I can afford it when it comes out, because, man, there's a lot of work out here. It's true. I don't know, like, I never liked Regigigas. I liked Registeel, but that was about the extent of it, but... those were some weird legendary monsters. And monsters I'm going to have to try and catch, because I'm also playing through Ruby on stream as well. But, you had to learn Braille, you had to catch a Relicanth, which was tricky, you had to get a Wailord, which... you could either run into one at 1% chance of it happening, or raising a Wailmer, which was like the worst thing ever. You had to have Dig, and you had to, like, not use Dig on any dumb monsters. And then, like, accidentally get rid of it. And then, oh yeah, that's right, you had to learn freaking Braille. I still think Gen 3's the best generation, honestly. But I also hate Gen 4 with a passion. And it just feels like a lot of their designs they kind of gave up. As I've said in my top 10 list, you can go watch. Like, there's just not a lot there for Gen 4 or anything after that, really. There's some fun, but I just... never been excited about Pokemon since, like, Gen 4. Gen 4 was just such a huge disappointment. And I mean, Gen 2 was fun, but they focused so much on the old stuff that none of the new stuff actually was really playable until, like, halfway through the game, which kind of removed all the purpose of getting them. And Gen 1 was really repetitive, as much as I love it. And then after that, pretty much all the generations are kind of just sort of bleeding together. Gold and Silver remakes were good. But to be fair, Gold and Silver in general were some of the best games in the series, I think, after Ruby. I remember my brother, his first Pokemon game of all time was Pokemon Pearl. And I remember trying to dissuade him with that because, again, Gen 4 was just terrible. And he hated it. And then I somehow convinced him to play, like, Pokemon Heart Gold, and he loved it. Like, that is his favorite Pokemon of all time. But he admits, like, Pearl was just not good. It's like, yeah, Gen 4 was not good. Yeah, for me it was totally Gen 4, but I could see why Gen 5 would, or after Gen 5 you could lose interest. I think, for me, it was mostly like Gen 4 was just such a letdown, and then after that it feels like they just kind of really got sloppy and uncreative with the character designs. I mean, somehow we still live in a world where there's a garbage bag Pokemon. And despite the fact that they've axed like half the Pokedex, that monster still somehow exists. Which I find offensive, considering Nidoking isn't around anymore, or Pidgeot, or Ampharos. And those monsters are awesome. Well, why keep the garbage bag monster? I'll never understand that. Yeah, I agree, the first versions of Diamond and Pearl had issues. I've been told that Platinum is a lot better, but I've genuinely never seen a copy of Platinum. And because it's Gen 4, I just don't have a lot of interest in them. Although, credit where credit's due, Gen 4 did happen to sort of try and make older monsters relevant again by adding new evolutions and stuff. Which, I mean, that's always an issue, as I've, again, said in my top 10 list of Pokemon. When you add so many monsters, you're going to retread a lot of stuff, and eventually you're going to make the older monsters redundant. Just like Deoxys completely made Mewtwo useless, basically, because it's the same monster. And you don't do that to Mewtwo. Mewtwo's awesome. But, you know, going in and making new evolutions, at least, you're giving the older monsters a bit of a stat boost, you're giving them maybe a type change, you're making them more relevant in a time where they're increasingly less and less so. And, of course, they gave us Gallade, which is the only thing I will ever credit Gen 4 for being wholly good. But that's just because I love Gardevoir so much. You made Gardevoir a samurai. How am I not gonna love that? But I don't know. Like, the only other monster from Gen 4 I think that was particularly cool was the Shinx evolution line. It's like Luxray. I thought they were kind of cool, but that's because I'm like a sucker for dogs. Nothing but Seabass. This is so depressing. I remember a couple days ago we could still catch Barred Knifejaws and, you know, Red Snappers. We could actually sell them for money. Yeah, it's good that you could actually catch trade-only Pokemon. I've always thought that monsters that were, like, exclusive to trades and stuff was a stupid idea. Like, Alakazam, Machamp, and stuff. It's like, well, I can either use their significantly less useful pre-evolutions, or I can just not bother. But that's because I was someone who had 0 friends back in the day. I mean, I had a little bit of an advantage having Pokemon Silver, because everyone had Gold and made fun of me for having Silver, because Gold is clearly better than Silver because it's rare or whatever. But I was the one laughing because I had Skarmory. Oh, Skarmory's awesome. Alright, I think I'm going to make one more trip down the coastline. We'll see if we can actually try and catch ourselves another Coelacanth or one period, because I'd like one. I had the link cable and I have no idea why, because I had like no friends to trade with, but I had the link cable. I mean, I theoretically could trade with people. People just never wanted to trade with me because I didn't have friends. And they all looked like idiots when I was the only one having a Skarmory that day. I never understood why Pokemon Crystal got rid of Mareep as a catchable monster. That was a weird cut to me. That was a monster that I think should have absolutely stayed and just didn't. Crap. I'm not just saying that because I love Ampharos. Because Ampharos is one of like my favorite monsters, but come on. Why did you get rid of the best electric type ever? The adorable little sheepy that turns into a dinosaur that shoots lightning out of his mouth. It's awesome. Ba-doop. Come on, Coelacanth. I think it has to snow right now because it's like a plot thing, but at the same time, I think it still has the same flags of it properly snowing, like Coelacanth should spawn. I shouldn't just be wasting my time here. And it does power a lighthouse. Ampharos is awesome like that. And it's fluffy, and it's a dinosaur, and I love it. Oh, but Crystal didn't have one, so I had to make use of a lantern instead. Which... maybe it had a better type advantage, but let's just be honest, it was nowhere near as cool. That might be a Coelacanth right there, actually. Or maybe not. That might have been a perspective thing. Let's find out. Come on, Coelacanth. Seabass. Foiled again. Oh well. Time to go home, I guess. I can only fish up the same worthless fish for 15 minutes at a time. After that, I give up. Throw that out. Gotta keep this place clean. Although, if we don't keep it clean, we get our ghosty buddy, which would be useful. That's something to think about for the future, I guess. Anyway, I think that will be it for tonight. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, follow the stream to know when we go live, because we do this every single night, plus other stuff, when I happen to have the time. I also want to check out and subscribe to my YouTube channel, because there are so many videos out there that I think would be interesting to you. Over 1,000 waiting just for you, and not just Animal Crossing, although we do have a full archive of every Animal Crossing video I've ever made, including the one from that weird Japanese N64 one. Yeah. As well as all my reviews and everything else on my YouTube channel. So yeah, you should definitely go check that stuff out. And if you really want to make my day, check out the show's PayPal or Patreon. Support the show any way you can so that I can continue to what I do to the best of my ability, which in this case is fish up worthless fish forever, because I can't get a Coelacanth. It's sad. But you'll get yourself on the Discord where we can talk about awesome things, such as all the different pirate cards I've got, and try and figure out what I gotta do next, and also what I'm going to be streaming for the new year, because I'm still trying to figure that one out. Maybe Mario Maker 2, or something. I don't know. I've got like a bunch of different RPGs I can do. I got a bunch of ideas, but I'm just bouncing around so much that I can't really stick to one idea I like. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Peace out, Internet.